Ladies and gentlemen, we have on the line Mr. Paul Carrack. Paul, how are you doing today?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you. How's yourself?
We're very good. Where are you? You're in the UK at the moment, I guess?
Yeah, I'm in the UK at the moment. I was over in Spain a couple of weeks ago. The weather was absolutely fantastic. You'd be pleased to know it's rubbish here. It's grey and miserable and horrible, but I can't wait to get back.
I am not going to gloat, but I will tell you we're still in shorts and T-shirts here.
Well.
Now, if we take you back a few years, quite a few years, unfortunately, to the start of your recording career, you started out with a jazz rock band called Warm Dust.
Oh, God, no, you're not going to go that. Please. I thought I'd locked that cupboard that's up well and truly, Elliot, but, well, skipping over that very briefly, yes, for my sins, I was involved in that band, and it was pretty dreadful, actually. But we thought at the time it was the bee's knees, but, in hindsight, it was pretty ropey.
But then came Ace, and the track that you wrote and, of course, sang on, which was How Long, which everybody knows, a fantastic track.
Yeah, thank you. Well, that's kind of when I first started writing songs. It's one of the first songs I wrote, and pretty much the first time I'd ever sung a lead on a record. So it was really astonishing for us, because basically we were a pub band, and we managed to get ourselves a record deal with a small label, and somehow or other we managed to fluke one and get one through the net.
Yeah, I mean, 1975, it was a hit in the UK and the US, huge hit all over. It must have been fantastic going from, as you say, the pub rock scene suddenly to Top of the Pops and things like that.
Yeah, well, it was fantastic. I mean, yes, it was very humble beginnings. I mean, I'd been in bands from being in school. I left school at 16 and was on the road, and it was very, very tough, I mean, I was several stones lighter than I am now. We didn't get to eat very often. To have that, that break was fantastic, very exciting.
Now, the one thing that a lot of people possibly don't realise about Paul Carrack is the amount of bands that you've been in and the amount of work that you've done in those bands. I mean, there's Roxy Music, obviously Squeeze. It's a very, very high-profile career for somebody who not a lot of people know about, I guess.
It's a funny old career, actually. I mean, I don't think there's another sort of parallel, really. As you say, I've been in several, very well-known bands. I've also played on tons of records as a keyboard player. But I've sung some, big old hits, lead vocal. But as you say, people don't really recognise the name so much. I mean, over in the UK, it's a bit better now. I'm a bit more established as a solo artist, But still, all in all, it's still been a brilliant career. I've enjoyed myself thoroughly, and still enjoying it.
Now, I actually saw you in concert a few years ago in Brighton, and it was a fantastic concert, because the great thing with somebody like yourself is you can bring out so many songs that, as you say, you've sung and you've recorded, and people go, oh, wow, I didn't realise he did that.
Yeah, they're still doing that. I mean, we do get, as I say, we've built up quite a good following of people that really know all about you, and they know a lot of the solo stuff and all this, that, and the other. But we're still getting people coming along for the first time, and as you say, they're often quite surprised that they won't know the association that I've got with a certain song or what have you. And but I wouldn't say I planned it that way. It certainly haven't. But it suited me to be like that. I never particularly wanted to be famous, and I even less so now. I think it would be a nightmare to be famous, to be honest with you. But I've got a nice sort of niche, and still enjoying what I do, and still producing new music all the time.
Now, just taking you back to the time you were in Squeeze, replaced Jules Holland and recorded one of my favourite Squeeze tracks, which is Tempted. Did you know that was going to be as big a hit as it was when you were actually recording it? Did you have any feeling?
Well, I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I'd only just really joined the band about a week or two before they recorded that album, East Side Story. It was from East Side Story, and I really, as you say, I replaced Jules as a keyboard player. I never expected to get to sing lead vocal on any of the songs because they already had two great singers, but they kind of let me have that one. And I was very, it was a little bit strange actually because, they've been knocking on the door for so long and had a few hits in England, but they'd never cracked it in the States. And then that was the song that kind of opened up the doors for them in the States. So it was a little bit strange, but nevertheless, I still think it's a great song. I didn't write that song, written by Glenn Tilbrook.
Now, after that, there was a period when you were doing session work for people like the Smiths and the Pretenders. That must have been fantastic, working with people like that. It's so diverse.
Yeah, well, I've always done a little bit of that. Not so much these days because I'm kind of busy, doing my own stuff all the time. But it was just another string to the bow, really. I mean, I'm a self-taught musician, and I've always been kind of bluffed my way through these things, and I always thought I'd get found out eventually on these sessions. But I used to get calls just to go around, and actually I lived very near this studio in London, Eden Studios in Chiswick, and I often used to get a call about 10:30 as the pubs were closing, and they say, you couldn't just play a bit of organ on this track for us. That went on a lot of the time.